It's the same reason why I think some people, like, I would have completely understood if when Hasanabi made an offer to AOC about, you know, doing an Among Us stream, if she said, nah, thanks, no, I'm good, after the 9/11 comments, right? Yeah. It would have made, in my mind, I would completely understand it, right? I would say, you know, if it brings more attention to an issue that I care about, or if it helps me maneuver more in these issues that I care about, I'm going to always prioritize that personally, because I'm trying to achieve political success, political goals, and I'm willing to do that. But as an organization, I understand why the organization didn't want to do that. Big fish. Anyway, back to Destiny and the DSA stuff. Somebody just fucking did a clip now. What's this clip? Why don't you just slap my mom? Oh, it's the slap my mom clip. Anyway, back to the DSA thing. So, did you see the criticisms being lobbied against Destiny and such online at the moment?
Well, he's a Nazi, so he deserves it.
Link it. You don't, like, I knew
basically
about this stuff
it's like somebody was like, what the fuck, why aren't you working with Destiny, most important election of our lifetime? And then DSA responded with like, we don't work with Nazis.
Oh, I saw that.
And then it spiraled out. It spiraled from there.
Yeah.
So
I did see that. Seems cringe.
That's the hard-hitting analysis you'll get from the people who work on the ground with Destiny. Seems cringe. Wow.
Yeah, okay. If you want the real analysis, if the DSA really cares about pushing for progressive causes, they wouldn't be out here using the luxury of their situation, especially from the it's funny coming from the DSA, which has little to no political power. And I mean, if they keep acting like this, they won't for a long time. So
okay, let me put some pushback here then, because I'm, you know, unbiased question asker.
Sure.
If that's the case, would you leave Georgia? Would you stop participating in this whole thing if you found out that the accusation that Destiny actually went up to organizations and asked for like all this information and data for free is actually accurate, and that he's wasting everyone's time? Would you drop participation?
What do you mean by wasting time? That's kind of an important clarification, right?
Like if he's going around asking for free voter data, like that is wasting people's time. Like telling them like, hey, we'd be interested in participating.
Oh, you mean wasting these like
these organizations' time with like saying we would like voter data. Sure, we can compile all this for you. We can help you out. You know, it just costs you know, stuff like that.
If he was asking. Oh my god.
Let me find the clip. Let me find the clip of the accusation of what happened.
Oh, something just... Okay, so basically, I would say that if that was to come out, and depending on the context of the situation, maybe, like, if, like, in reality we didn't have access to this voter data, and, like, everyone is, like, especially, like, people who are putting their time into it being, like, strung along, yeah, but I probably wouldn't engage with it, but I don't know if that's a situation. It kind of depends contextually, right?
Let me find the clip. Here's the clip that was posted by Z Squirrel, well-known Destiny best friend of Destiny. But here's the clip that's getting circulated.
Okay.
You can mute me and just look at stream quick, okay? Cool. Turns out the whole OMG Destiny was canceled by DSA purity politics was just a pathetic excuse by that grifter for being a lazy hack who didn't plan anything in advance for the canvassing, and most tellingly, his refusal to pay to get voting data from another org. This right here is actually, if this happened, this is actually a bad, unironically. Now I will say that if it might just come from like a lack of experience, which is completely understandable. Oh, wait, you didn't mute me. You didn't listen to my instructions. Damn. Nobody follows the rules over here.
And so he called me, and it was basically, it looked like a situation where he, like, did not have any kind of, like, plan for, like, the canvassing. They just had all these, like, sign-ups. They had all these people, and they wanted to, like, get them canvassing, but they didn't know how. He said he was, like, trying to get together Nation Builder, which is, like, sort of an off-brand, like, van voter database thing. It's not off.
Nation Builder. Do I have that installed on my phone? I have Van. I know I have Van. Let me see. Do I have Nation Builder? I have Minivan. Slack. I think I might have had it, but I deleted it because I needed room on my shitty phone. Anyway, back onto it. Wait, let me see if I can see the app symbol. Nation builder. No, I haven't used that.
Off-brand. There's Republicans who use it, but
That's
like
definitely
the most
off-brand.
common thing is Van. And so like they like, you know, he was like, oh, I want to, you know, get people canvassing, but I don't have lists of voters. You know, I didn't want to like. But he said like, I don't want to like pirate voter data off the internet.
Sure.
And they just wanted, and so they went to New Georgia Project and said, and tried to like get help from them to like get actually like lists of voters, because when you can't.
New Georgia Project. New Georgia Project. Getting people registered. Okay, so this is like getting people registered to vote and stuff. Okay, got it. New Georgia Project. UNGA.
Canvas, you need to have a list of like where the actual registered voters are. You want to be able to like record their data, so that the point isn't just talking to people randomly off the street. You want to go specifically to the young people and people that are less likely to vote to like remind them to vote. You don't want to be canvassing Republicans. You want to like figure out and get data on where the voters are, so that you can follow up with them and send them text reminders like, hey, did you submit your absentee ballot request?
Only do you like you basically you generally want to talk to people who's more likely to vote your side, right? You just don't want to spend all your time talking to Republicans or people who aren't registered to vote, and that's why you need like Van and stuff like that.
Yet, or like remind them, you know, when early voting starts, stuff like that. So he was like, you know, we don't care, you know, about keeping the data. We just want to, you know, make sure we're sending our people someplace. So that they reached out to New Georgia Project, who apparently were like, yeah, we can partner with you if you pay us, and presumably to like pay for staff time and like managing the events and shit. And they were like, we're not going to do that. And so New Georgia Project just ghosted them because they were like, we're not going to set up like events for you for free.
New Georgia Project is probably
Right.
the org, if they really, you know, wanted to do that, is the org they should have found the money and given it to them. And
Yeah,
actually paid some of these people that are doing the work that they claim is life or death and have been doing it for the last 4 or 5 years in the city. What is the thing that's stopping you as a successful Twitch streamer?
Okay, so let me hear the ending part again. I was reading the DM. 1 second.
Like, we're not going to do that. And so New Georgia Project just ghosted them because they were like, we're not going to set up like events for you for free.
New Georgia Project is probably
Right.
the org, if they really, you know, wanted to do that, is the org they should have found the money and given it to them. And actually paid some of these people that are doing the work that they claim is life or death and have been doing it for the last 4 or 5 years in the city. What is the thing that's stopping you as a successful Twitch streamer?
Okay, got it. So that's the accusation. Go back for a second. Okay. Polo, you can unmute. Ender, he's still there? Ender has left. Ender has left. He's left me alone. How dare he? Hey, Polar. So what do you think of that?
So, yeah, that does sound pretty bad. And I'm just gonna ask you straight up, as someone like personally who doesn't know too much about this, I see this as, you know, like pretty bad, right? But is there like I see it as like, well, this is like pretty bad because one, he's asking and he doesn't want to pay them. But do you think that's like a reason to not engage with that campaign further, or are there like negative political ramifications that come
So
after it? So-
now that's not the only reason why DSA didn't work with him. That's not like this tweet is going too far. Like this idea that the reason that they didn't work with him was because they grifty lazy hack, he didn't make anything in advance for canvas. This is not it. I mean, I do think that him not paying for this might have had an impact, but then again, that's with a separate organization. That's not DSA. That's a separate org. That's the other thing. But he didn't have a plan in advance, and I mean, a lot of this comes from the thing, and I was worried about this beforehand, that Destiny didn't have a lot of experience. Thankfully, he's working with Doug, who has worked on other campaigns before, that has gotten a decent amount of the vote. Didn't win, but got a decent amount of vote in a primary. Hopefully, you know, he helps him out. But I think a lot of it, and coming from the tweet which called him a Nazi, I think a lot of it also had to do with the fact that of his statements on Kyle Rittenhouse. And that made the organization not want to work with them. Now, I can have disagreements. Like I've said before, I will work with whoever necessary to achieve the strategic objectives of getting more people healthcare, getting more people resources, blah blah blah. I've talked about how I work with libertarians to achieve foreign policy objectives. I'll work with Christian Democrats like Ender, who I might disagree with abortion, if it means that more people get a living wage, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, if I am a local chapter of DSA, and as a local chapter of DSA, I want to work on things like police abolition, or getting more people involved in co-ops, or getting people knowledgeable in theory, maybe voter registration drives, and maybe canvassing for political candidates, endorsing certain candidates. As an organization, they don't want to cause a split in the group where people in the group are going to be working with somebody who they might not want to, who defended Kyle Rittenhouse or did the whole statement about like what was it? If it takes people going out there and mowing down right? Like that. Yeah. They don't, number one, they could say it's bad for their image, and that could hurt their recruitment efforts. Number two, they probably have people in there, and I heard it was put to a vote, who don't want to be associated with that and don't want to work with people who have made statements like that. And would probably just say, I'm not working with an organization that works with such individuals, once this was brought to their attention. And they don't want to be associated with those general statements. It's the same reason why I think some people, like, I would have completely understood if when Hassan Abi made an offer to AOC about, doing an Among Us stream, if she said, nah, thanks, no, I'm good, after the 9/11 comments, right? Yeah. It would have made, in my mind, I would completely understand it, right? Mm-hmm. I would say, if it brings more attention to an issue that I care about, or if it helps me maneuver more in these issues I care about, I'm going to always prioritize that personally, because I'm trying to achieve political success, political goals, and I'm willing to do that. But as an organization, I understand why the organization didn't want to do that. Now, the interesting part to me, that's my own, I've already kind of like come to my own personal more conclusions on the matter. The thing that's interesting to me is this accusation that like, Destiny wasn't prepared. Destiny asked for free voter registration data, and he didn't know what he was doing, and that in compounding that with the his past statements, make it so why would you want to work with such an individual? It makes sense.
I get what you mean. So I guess when it comes to the take on the
now, and the second part is yet to be confirmed. The first part, of course, already is confirmed. There's clips everywhere proving it.
So I would say, if I was in the position of the DSA and I'm not as large, I think when it comes to, I would say, like, brand rep is probably not a good way of looking at this, but like when it comes to image, especially as a political party, I probably want to put efficacy over image first, and then when you get to a certain point, then start prioritizing that, right? So the Republicans have done this somewhat well. Is that they've grown to the point where like their image is to be strong, for example, and who they like associate with, or the way they engage with Democrats is who they associate with. But with the DSA, if I was in the position of the DSA, I'd be doing anything that I could to like gain political capital. And it seems like if the first reason, let's say like Destiny was prepared and he did this, and these accusations aren't true, I would probably be like, if I was in the position of the DSA, I don't know if I would go into that mentality, because especially in a party that's been relatively really politically weak, I'd probably want to prioritize gaining more political capital.
But I mean, I don't know the strength of the DSA chapter or its objectives, so I mean, I can't really comment.
My understanding of the DSA is that,
well, this chapter of DSA, the different chapters have different charters and different things.
I think this DSA chapter isn't very my understanding is it isn't that popular, and they're not too like politically organized when it comes to the rest of like the democratic the democratic apparatuses in the area. I know they've had a couple of events in the past year that have gotten flack, but they weren't that positive. I think they also had like
so if I'm an organization, right, who's trying to work on like issues like, I assume, I'm just making an assumption here, it's like police abolition and local like organizing issues, co-op building, stuff like that. If to get the people I want inside the organization to work with me in organizing to do these things, right? Mm-hmm. Would us being associated with Destiny, the person who made these statements and are known for making statements like this, even though this isn't all that Destiny's about, is that something as an organization I would want to do, number one? And what if even if I want to grow as an organization, I got to keep the members I currently got if I want to grow. And would something like this alienate the members I currently have? And even if they don't leave, would they effectively be working with this individual with these clips in mention, with these clips in mind? Because you know what? If the first thing you see about Destiny is that clip, probably not going to work with them. Probably don't want to work with them.
Okay, so this is actually kind of an interesting point, right? We're kind of talking about like who these specific organizations they would find fit to like actually work with, right? Would you say that this would be politically limited on the basis of their political ideals or things that they've said, right? Because I'd be interested to hear your take when it comes to, for example, if the DSA refused to work with like centrist, like more corporate Democrats that they would consider.
I mean,
do you apply that same kind of take there? Like, in the sense
I would
of,
say I would find it more ridiculous, right? Personally,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I also remember the type of organization DSA is. I've spoken at DSA events before. I've coordinated with DSA before. I coordinated with them in South Carolina somewhat when it was with the Bernie stuff. I'm a card carrying DSA member as far as I remember. I paid for a yearly membership. I should still be in the organization. I actually get an email about every local PG County DSA meeting. I have met people from Metro DSA in DC. They're all wonderful people. But a lot of the things that they concentrate on are not the same things I concentrate on. So that's why I usually just pay my dues, kind of pay attention, and when it's something that I want to be organized with or work with them, I'll jump on, right? When it's not, I'll I'll keep my distance. I'm somebody who's mostly been in the ringer when it comes to elections, and city boards, and legislation. While I've done some organizing around co-ops and some organizing about unions, that's not my mandatory thing. That's not my big thing that I do. So if they're doing something in an area that I'm not as interested in, I won't jump on that bandwagon. And me knowing how the DSA folk are, I just don't think it's going to be very easy for you to jump on a train that generally has problems with the Democratic Party as a whole, right? Number one, and getting them to work with somebody who said what they said about mowing down protesters is going to be a difficult task. Even if you understand the strategic benefits of it, there's some people that it's just like going to be too far for them. And if this is the first content they're interacting with Destiny, how are you going to get your members to come on board? In fact, as far as I know, it was a Democratic vote within the organization on whether they wanted to work with them or not. And they voted it down. That's what I'm being told. I haven't seen like a chapter notice or anything, but that's what's going around.
I think that's actually a really interesting point, right? If it's coming directly from the party and they have different values, then like you mentioned, right? Even if it comes at a strategic benefit and those are things that they value.
Yeah, for example, let me ask you this, Polar.
Then I definitely agree with you.
Let me ask you this, Polar. If Tucker Carlson said he wanted to canvas with you tomorrow, would you agree to that?
Oh, that's actually a tough situation.
Now, let's say it's strategically beneficial. Let's say Tucker Carlson is one of the best canvassers out there. I mean, he goes like, he's out there. He's convincing in his arguments. He's a really good canvasser. Would you canvass with Tucker Carlson? And if you would you understand someone else saying, "Nah, I'm good"?
I think it would, in that action, right? If it necessarily, like, if it has that like massive strategic benefit based on my philosophical principles,
massive strategic benefit. That is the keyword, massive strategic benefit.
Yeah.
Do you believe the Destiny thing is comparable to a massive strategic benefit for this Metro DSA, for this DSA chapter?
Oh, that's actually really interesting. I don't know.
Because we have somebody like Destiny who's never canvassed before, as far as I know, who doesn't have an organizing history. This is his first time around. His biggest asset is the clout that gets people in the room, right? So he's not giving them, and as far as I know, he's not giving them a financial benefit. He's not giving them a organizational like skill benefit. He's giving them people in the room, right? And if his past statements get more people out of the room when it comes to their experienced organizers, then they're losing experience possibly in that instance by alienating people within their organization who from Destiny's past statements.
Yeah, that is actually a pretty good point. So, I would personally, I've worked with Tucker Carlson, and if people are turned off by that, but I was able to get like,
Clear.
for
I don't think
example-
Destiny's comparable to Tucker Carlson.
No,
I'm not
no,
saying
yeah,
that.
yeah, with the, oh, yeah, with the hypothetical. I think that's probably a good point, right? Talking about like if the DSA values that and they want to keep their base, right? And do they have the marginal benefit that like maybe working with Destiny like actually gives them if there really isn't one? Then if you prioritize keeping your base and you don't really see the benefit of working with someone like Destiny, because for example, I highly doubt that like any of like the DGGers are going to become DSA members. You know what I mean? Anytime soon. So I don't know if like working with them. No, with Destiny working with like DSA working with like Destiny doesn't provide that much value, especially because the canvassing numbers aren't too hot right now. I don't see why they should. You know what I mean? But on the basis of him being a Nazi, that's pretty cringe. But
I don't think he's a neo-Nazi. But if I'm a DSA chapter who my main strengths are through the organizational skill of my members, their dedication to the cause, their experience. With canvassing and stuff, and we don't just do election canvassing work. We also most likely do maybe stuff about union organizing, educating people, having lectures on maybe socialism and issues surrounding socialism, stuff around co-ops, stuff around women's rights and other issues. Then, if that is your purpose as an organization, then having somebody like Destiny in the room, who isn't offering much more besides the clout and the people that the clout brings when it comes to like canvassers, then if you see that as difficult to get you new members and the type of members you're looking for, dedicated long-term members who are going to be a part of your organization, if they're looking to the long-term like strength of your organization, and how that alienates are already the people that's there, then it makes complete sense to me as an organization, Metro DSA, looking at the situation saying, we're good. Now, I do not think they needed to come out with the he's a Nazi thing, but I think them definitely I just don't. I mean, maybe I'm too cordial. Maybe I am just personally too cordial, and someone could say, Dylan, this is not an issue to be cordial about. Decent complaint. But again, I'm a cold. I guess I'm too cold when it comes to the strategic mindset. But it makes 100% sense to me them distancing themselves from Destiny and saying, "Nah, I'm good." And to Destiny, just work with a different organization. Just try to stay fine with another organization. Now that's difficult because of the impromptu nature of his canvassing operation, but that's really on him.
Sure. I do actually agree with that point. I think what's most interesting to me is that like, and this is something that I tried talking about earlier, but like DGGs, they're not going to become DSA members, right? It's like
that's another thing. The people they're bringing, they might just be temporary canvassers. They're not going to long term do this. So this would be something from their perspective that would be primarily to assist the Raphael Warnock and Ossoff campaigns.
I think this would be like really different with like for example like a Vosh, right, whose community may actually end up like joining the DSA and getting engaged. Even though he may have had like inflammatory like statements in the past, having someone
there'd be a totally different strategic calculus there.
Yeah, sure. So Dylan, I think you've changed my mind on this one. Okay, you did it. You pulled a Steven Crowder. Okay, clip it, ship it. I think you made some good arguments here. No, but I think you've demonstrated this point really well. That like, one, DGGs are going to be becoming DSA members anytime soon. Two, it's like extremely impromptu. Three, like the individual, right, doesn't really like, since the DSA
is divisive in nature and relative to the organization.
Yeah, definitely. Like the DSA has a specific character that they want, and Destiny doesn't really meet that. So even if like for example, the value of like them working with a different candidate who, like for example, them working with like a Vosh may actually give them like a lot of strategic value, right? They may gain members, since like Vosh actually engages with those kinds of things, and he's a supporter of a lot of those ideals. So his community may go support them, and they may gain like actual political capital. This may not actually end up doing that. So yeah.
Okay, let me respond to a few things in chat. Hard disagree with those members being closed to DSA. Come on, guys. Vosh sent. Well, no, we're not saying Vosh's community. Well, the thing is, Destiny's community and Vosh's community. Let's be real. Vosh's, there's going to be a lot more DSA people that like sprout from a Vosh coordination with DSA than a Destiny coordination with DSA. they manifest different communities and have different values, when Destiny has been self-admittedly doing lefty purges for the last, year now, ever since the Hassan Abi drama forward. Obviously, that with that 1 year history, there's going to be a different type of community festered than the one with Vosh, who is an admitted socialist, who I think is an ANCOM, I forget, but he's an admitted socialist. So the communities there are going to be different, and so the amount of people who are going to say, I am going to pay monthly to yearly fees to be part of this socialist organization and come to the meetings, come to the organizational skills, learn from the people around me, develop and make it so not only that they are a member that shows up and just shows up generally and contributes, but also is worth the investment of teaching them organizational skills, right? Comparative to a GGG member who most likely will be mostly involved for the Ossoff and Warnock campaigns.
I can also bring up just firsthand from working on there, the couple of people that I've met. There were a few Vosh people down there, but there were people who were for example, that were working at were also right of Destiny, right? Just a little bit further right than he was. I think, I think I agree with you on this one. There, I initially thought there may have been the gain that they wanted. Notoriety isn't really the only thing that matters. So even if they were to gain public attention, they still need members, they still need funding. So yeah, you brought up some good points here, Dylan. Okay, pretty solid.
Okay, let me read this thread right here. By the way, I can now say that I've been able to speak at the University of Maryland YDSA chapter, and Destiny is barred. Tried to do a YDSA chapter speech and was barred. Ooh, I am the bipartisan candidate. Okay, I am the one that will unite the left. I'm the uniter. He's the divider.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
When
you
there's
know the meme, what was it, Destiny 3.0? Your Destiny 4.0.
oh god, who is Destiny 3.0?
Demon Mama.
Demon
The
Mama?
Demon Mama said, yeah.
Oh boy. I need to get something to drink. I appreciate you stopping by. If you want to stay here, we can go through this thread together. But I'm gonna go get something to drink.
Okay, I'll entertain. I need to get something to. Actually, I'll stay. I'll be here for another couple minutes.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay, he's gone. Okay. The GOP would take from the KKK MAGA Young Republicans? Jeez, dude. I think Destiny's comments are biting him beyond deplatforming. There's definitely nuance to what he said, but it's going a long way if he can admit it was too hyperbolic. How do I feel about that take? I think that clip is not doing him any favors. It's really not. And that's what's hurting him a lot. Because I know he's done things in the past that have been optically really bad, but not enough to get him deep partner like this one did. So disappointing to see the enthusiasm from Vosh's stream turn to this. It really depends, Mick Chop Daddy. It really depends on the second part. Talking about whether he was trying to get it for free or not, because I wanted to see something. It's the Rittenhouse One Piece craft. Basically, this would suck, especially because knowing that I have talked to Vosh and tried to get people to come out, and so I would feel really bad if this ended up being a situation where it wasn't planned, or you know what I mean, this wasn't really thought out and it was a waste of time. And personally, I'd feel somewhat liable, right? Because I literally posted the VOD that has 4,000 views. I've talked to Vosh about it. Vosh played it on his stream or whatever, so I'd feel somewhat personally liable. That sucked. Just tell him to fundraise. I talked. We mentioned talking about a pack or something. So. Hey,
how's it going?
Solid. Telling everyone, okay, about my personal liability in the situation.
Your personal liability, and in what way? In what manner?
Basically, there's a guy in Big Chop Daddy. He's so disappointed to see the enthusiasm for Vosh's stream turn into this. And I was mentioning how I live streamed it the first time. I talked to Vosh about the video, and he played my video on a stream. I posted in his subreddit about getting people to go out. And if this ended up being a situation where this wasn't planned out well, and all this stuff was going on, I'd feel personally liable to a certain extent.
Well, I mean, I can understand that. I mean, this is a first foray into this type of thing. Maybe Destiny, while having a figurehead like Destiny behind this is important. Of course, having experts in the room who know what the fuck they're doing is extremely important. I'm happy Doug's there. I had a conversation with Doug. He seemed to have a decent head. From the conversation I remember, I think having with him. Apparently, now that I know who he is, since I checked DMs and I had DMs with the guy, he seemed like a guy who had his head on his shoulders. He's been part of campaigns in the past, campaigns that might have not been like groundbreaking winning campaigns, but you know, campaigns. I just think you know, this you know, having a figure like Destiny being your figurehead, and having, you know, this is kind of a newer thing that's going on. There's gonna be some growing pains.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think this all really depends on like what the truth of the situation of the second part was, right? Talking about whether like some of this stuff happened, right? Like whether this whole situation with the DSA and then the voter data and that stuff comes out. That may be like thinking about the context of the situation more of, and after having this conversation, that may be the real damage. Like that part that seems pretty bad.
Yeah.
With the
well, it's the thing is, like, maybe on its own, I could be like, you know what, this is an experience, but with that compounding, the type of figure Destiny is, and the divisive nature of some of the statements he's made, it's a deadly combination. If true, again, right now, we're just looking at this. We're just looking at it. I really don't want to take these words as, like, because trust me, even though the DSA people, let me tell you this, DSA people have lied to me before. Some DSA people are the greatest in the world. Others, like, have been wrapped up in sexual assault scandals. So I don't really know this chapter of DSA very well. I don't know any of these people, so I can't tell you what their credibility. But you know, I want to look at what they're saying. So here's another thread from the guy who is organizing in Atlanta, who is says he's the water boy of the DSA chapter. Anyway,
what does that mean?
I have no clue. I'm the Metro DSA guy that dropped Destiny and allegedly sabotaged this whole canvassing operation. Here's why that's actually bullshit. Saturday, November 28th. Now, right now, we're in the fucking DM sector, right? And if I'm looking at this, DMs from last month. Wow, yeah, you guys really jumped on the thing late. Okay, so this is the Metro DSA guy. Okay, so by the way, we're in DM territory now, so a lot of this could be clipped and shipped. So again, I'm just gonna say that again, clipping and shipping. We know how this shit works.
True.
If you really believe this, have a talk with Destiny. I mean, again, I don't know the credibilities. I mean, I could have a talk with Destiny. I could ask him about what happened from his perspective, but also not being in the room. I'm just fucking. I'm just like taking other people's allegations and bringing them to him. And once he counters them, I'm just like back at square one. So, and not to mention, like, these tweets are getting a lot of fucking attention. Obviously, I'm sure he's probably gonna respond to it on his own. I don't need to prompt it with him. And plus, I want to talk to him about foreign policy. I don't want to talk to him about this.
Yeah, this boring, okay? Pleb, average political viewer type stuff, okay? Only the based chads talk about the foreign policy.
True. Okay. Saturday, November 28th, Destiny staffer joins a YDSA Discord. YDSA stands for Youth DSA. He asked to organize an event for Friday, December 5th. He disregards basic social distancing practices and wants to organize this event during finals week. He calls a YDSA staffer officer and pitches it. YDSA, I will say that the local chapter of YDSA that I spoke for and all this other stuff, I wanted to do more speeches. The last speech I did there was the Soleimani killing, and then after that, I haven't heard of any new meetings or any more needs for speaking arrangements, and I think that is because they did shut everything down because of social distancing and stuff. Hi, I'm the political organizer behind Destiny's Atlanta work. Blank can vouch for me. I would like to coordinate an event this upcoming Friday with YDSA, preferably at a college. Welcome. Also, what kind of event were you planning? Whatever event will get the most students to show up on campus. On campus, okay. Panel with professors, activists, etc. with Destiny as the host, talking about organizing. Impromptu Smash tournament, bingo, etc. I don't care. If a YDSA... God, this is so Twitch. Okay. If a YDSA member can book the space and distribute the message through social channels, we will through ours. In theory, sponsor a local musician, some food on us, and then canvassing sign up for the next day. Most students have gone home for the holidays, and finals are coming up this week, just FYI. Yeah, that is true. I'm actually in the middle of finals. I have a final due tomorrow, and I have a huge class due this Sunday, which, if I don't have everything done by then, I'm just gonna fail the class. So, obviously... Okay. To be honest, a lot of these possibilities you listed do not sound social distance as quarantine friendly. The schools might not have the good guidelines in place, but we should be smart regardless. Your goal here is to get people for canvassing, though. I'm confident if we do it outside, we can do it in a responsible way. The goal is to recruit people to canvass. Okay, canvas. Okay, so this is the whole DM they've sent. So we don't know what was said afterwards, but this looks like a pretty clear introduction. So afterwards, one of these are edited. It's the top one. Okay. Monday, November 30th. Why DSA officers decide not to have an event? Primarily because it's finals week. Oh, yeah, that's finals week. Makes sense. Even if you did want to do this whole thing, even without COVID, doing something like this during finals week is stupid. I couldn't do something like this during finals week. I even considered skipping streaming the whole week because it was finals week, just to get more work done. December 1st, an officer tells him they're not interested. He presses them about working with Metro DSA or other YDSA, so they give him my phone number because I'm a YDSA coordinator. Wednesday, December 2nd, Destiny staffer calls me. I have no idea who Destiny is. He says they have a ton of signups, but no voter data or canvassing app yet, and desperately need help. Okay, so they got names, they got signups, no voter data, so no van, right? Or a canvassing app to use. I heard they were using maybe Nation Builder. They asked a new GA project for help, but were rejected. He invites me to get drinks with him and Destiny. I say I'm social distancing and decline. I invite them to send people to an already planned canvas on Saturday, December 5th. He asked if Destiny can speak and if they can do their own events with our van. I said I need to check with leadership first. Okay, so this is actually something that would be another thing that Destiny could have done, which is saying, hey everybody, I'm down here and I'll be canvassing with this group. You should come to this group. Here's the location, here's the thingy, right? I say I'm social distancing and decline. I invite them to send their people to already planned canvas on December 5th. He asked if Destiny can speak and if they can do their own events with our van. So basically what they're asking for is if Destiny can speak at this event with all these people coming as a way to, like, I don't know, rally the troops, and then using the van, YDSA and DSA's van account, which they had to pay money for, realistically probably decent amount of money, and if they can use that van for future events. I say I'd need to check with leadership first. I actually don't know if that's legal.
What aspect?
I know that I can't use a van purchased by one campaign for another campaign. That is illegal. That I know. But
do you think that's specific
if
to
it's
state law?
No, I think it's just copyright stuff with van, maybe.
Oh.
I forget exactly. All I remember is that I was like, hey, can I use this van account data for... Can I, like, save it and, like, keep it? And they were like, no, that's illegal. You can't use it for other things. So I was like, oh. So that's what I remember. So I don't know if this would be illegal or not. I think it might be legal. Because it's for the same senatorial campaign, but it's also separate from the organization that purchased it, which might be where I don't know if it's legal or not. But again, I don't know, so I won't even, it's just a question I have in my head. I asked a few members who is Destiny, who say he sucks. I googled Destiny streamer for the first time, and I see him call for murdering BLM protesters. Okay, let me look up Destiny streamer. Destiny streamer. I want to see what's the first thing that comes up. Destiny streamer. Wikipedia. So this you can get a basic thing. Let me see what comes up on Wikipedia. Career. He was well known for prerogative, persona, and common use of crass language. This led to a temporary suspension for Twitch for insensitive language, September 2020. To provide a notice upon L that his partnership agreement would be terminated in October 2020. Twitch did not provide a specific reason for the termination. A debate between and John Toronto later racial views became popular and controversial. So this right here, they'd be like, huh, I don't know what that means. And then maybe they'd keep reading. There's, of course, a Switch channel. And then there's him losing his partnership for encouraging violence. And this would be the first article that they would actually have about the individual. You keep going. There's his Instagram. Another article about it. A controversial Twitch streamer named Stephen Kenneth Bonnell II. But that's from a year ago. Unpartners Destiny. Okay, so yeah, a bunch of unpartnering things. So a lot of things around the statement. And I see him calling for murdering BLM protesters. I don't bother checking in with other officers or a runoff committee. And this is the clip, which I can show on Twitch, right?
Yeah, because he's not banned.
It's like-
he's not banned.
Okay. So this is the clip he's talking about. And this is, okay, yep, this is a well-liked tweet, so it makes sense that this is probably something you'd be sent.
The rioting needs to fucking stop. And if that means like white redneck fucking militia dudes out there mowing down dipshit protesters that think that they could torch buildings at 10 p.m., then at this point they have my fucking blessing, because holy shit, this fucking shit needs to stop. It needed to stop a long time ago.
Okay, so not a great clip to introduce an individual to your movement or organization, or to anybody, really.
True.
Destiny is live. Why don't you just join him in Discord? Streaming isn't like that. You can't just be like, you can't just like knock on the Discord. Yeah, I'd have to send him a DM, and I could talk to him about it, but I haven't even finished reading all this shit. And again, didn't he say he didn't want to talk about a lot of this publicly?
Oh yeah, he mentioned yesterday, like the canvassing stuff with the data. He said he didn't want to talk about because it includes some like people that probably didn't want to be mentioned.
Okay, well then obviously that's what I'm mostly interested in. Everything else he's probably talked about already, so it'd be pointless for me to call him.
Yeah.
I call back 2 hours later. I politely say I think the chapter won't be interested in co-hosting events with Destiny, but they're welcome to send volunteers to our public events. Okay, so they're giving them avenues on where to like send their people. Recommend contacting the Allsoft Warnock campaigns about setting up their own events. He says, okay, this is something, yeah, they have field offices that might be able to coordinate stuff. Obviously, if you did this like a month in advance or like 2 months in advance, it would have been better to organize everything, but you know. Better late than sorry. So basically nothing happened. We didn't dramatically sabotage their plans, lead them on, or derail a couple of weeks of organizing, as Destiny said. Van is expensive as fuck. It is expensive as fuck. That's so true. They're just pissed to kick co-op to volunteer organize events. The dude sucks. If you want change, look at mad, get organized, join damn socialists, and struggle to overthrow the billionaire class, build economy. Okay, basically. What the fuck is this? Well, considering DSA's nutters are all whiny college students, I suppose politics stops. Sorry. Dumbass, it's YDSA, the Youth Democratic Socialists of America. Of course, during finals week, you can't really do much. That's like saying, oh, wow, because you're a bunch of fucking poor proles, I guess you guys can't canvass during working hours. Yeah, duh. Fucking dumbass.
Get him on your stream, Dylan. DM him, debate him, dude. Get him on. Heavy showdown, dude.
Anyway. So yeah, I mean, that's basically everything. I mean, there's not much more for me to say besides, obviously, what they're providing here. This shouldn't derail weeks. This would be about 1 week in time, and if this was 1 week, this shouldn't be the only avenue they're even exploring within that period of time either.
I think what'll be interesting is I wonder if he's reached out to other organizations as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it says that he reached out to the new GA project for van data, but I guess he looked at how expensive data can be, and he was like, yikers.
That's interesting too, because I think you mentioned that he could have like if he wanted to, he thought he could raise about 100K, which is a lot. Is that a lot when it comes to these kinds of things?
$100,000 is a lot, yes.
Okay, which is interesting. But I don't know if he was going to go through with that.
Well, I would say that most likely Destiny wouldn't want to put down the money himself, because it would at least be in the thousands of dollars. If I mean, we're not talking like a city council race here. We're talking a senatorial race, and not only a senatorial race, but the most watched senatorial race in the country.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh, this is starting to become a real situation. Interesting.
A real interesting situation, yeah. Is there anything that I don't know yet, chat, that should be said to me? or that I don't know about the situation that somebody should DM me, or a statement Destiny has made that I don't know?
Oh, let me check the Twitter.
This is actually the dumbest fucking tweet too by this person.
Yeah.
This is actually so dumb, unbelievably dumb.
Get him on, dude. Get him on.
Yep. Need to do people's lives. Anything from chat interesting? Yes, Cicely alluded to having evidence as DMs that backed his claims, but he doesn't want to out people that feel bad for situations, so he's taking the L for it. Well, I mean, like, as much as, like, I mean, like, yeah, so I just have to believe him. Yeah, and I mean, so obviously, like, the ball's in his court, and if he can't hit it back, like, this is all we can base off of. So there's nothing more I can say besides this is everything we have. This is all the information. None of it's coming from him. So, and if that's the case, then like, why DSA? This chapter of why DSA and DSA like takes a W here. Yeah.
I'm curious just to think. I wonder why they even got in contact with the DSA. I mean,
they're a local organization that's. I mean, DSA chapters are all over the country. They're a well-known organization to an extent. If you're political online, they do canvassing. They do operate. I mean, it's just an organization. This is one of the first ones I would think. If I was to go into an area, and I was thinking, I don't have a lot of time to prepare. Who can I canvass with, or who can I help? Can I help like get me to start canvassing? DSA is probably one of the orgs I would contact.
Interesting.
I mean, definitely when you consider the fact that like, how much time did he have to do this?
True. Yeah, so this would like if he tried to work with how effective is like the young Democrats in these states too? I don't know. I wonder, have you worked with any of them before?
Worked with who?
The young Democrats?
The president of Young Democrats follows me on Twitter, I think.
Do you think that they would have like? Do you think it would have been as easy to get in contact with them, or are they more like pristine, quote unquote?
Democrats. One second. Let me. Young Democrats president. One second. Let me check. Does he actually follow me on Twitter? Democrats of America. I think he does. Fuck. I think he follows me on Twitter.
Why are these people all so old?
What do you mean? They're young Democrats. That's young. Yeah, he does. Look. Follows me on Twitter. So that's cool, I guess.
Nice.
Look at me in my political clout. Isn't that cool? I say in my cat ears and cat sweater.
Keeping that ratio too. What are you at? Like 999? You're following like 999
Yeah, I refuse.
people?
I refuse to follow 1,000 people. Yeah.
Good meme. Yeah, I'm just curious to see if they try. Like, I think that I don't know how popular. My understanding is that the Young Democrats in Georgia, the chapter that I'm a part of, like at my local school, is trash, right? In the sense that like they didn't have the resources and the capabilities. I wonder if that was happening at like a local and like national, local and state level, and I wonder if they've approached them because this is somewhat interesting.
The thing is, I've been told to go like do stuff with Young Democrats, and like obviously I could. The president of the organization somewhat knows who I am, which I think could probably help me, right? Gain like something. I mean, I might actually DM him, But I'm also thinking to myself, like, I've got already so much on my plate, and I'm doing stuff like actual, like, campaign work and all this other stuff, which isn't to say young Democrats don't do that, but it's like, what, why? I mean, you know what? I probably should. It's an opportunity I should probably try to take advantage of, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Guy looks
Bro.
snazzy in a suit.
He did be looking good in the suit, that's for sure.
Snazzy in the suit.
Drip photo. Well, this has been a very interesting. What has this been like? I've been in here since like 2 hours, dude.
You know what I would
Okay.
say? You know what I would say, Polar?
Mhm.
If you are in person with Destiny in a car and there's nothing recording, nothing or that, don't do this to get me information, but just do this for yourself. Maybe say like, hey, like what happened? What's going on? Like maybe just ask him. Maybe since when there's no cameras on and like it's off stream, off that, maybe he'll be more open with you. Don't like coordinate on this information with me, but maybe that'll help clear up your conscience a little bit.
Yeah,
And you can
that's for
you can
sure.
tell him your way of thinking about it too, how you feel somewhat like at fault if something was wrong and you were directing people towards this on other streams.
Yeah, true. Well, thanks, Dylan. This is a great conversation. Okay, your political expertise when it comes to real electoral politics is always valuable. Okay,
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna head out.
See you
my
later.
friend.
See you. Let me look at chat quick. So, do you have any positive to say about this? Well, yeah, I do. Number one, him even getting involved in like something outside of a presidential election, pretty cool. Because a lot of people on Twitch, like the only thing they've ever gotten involved in, if they've gotten involved at all, was the Bernie Sanders campaign or some presidential campaign. So it is cool that they got involved in like something senator on the Senate level or on the congressional level. Of course, the more local, the cooler I find it. But still, this is an extremely important election, and since he has a national quote-unquote audience, this makes sense. Now, I would say him being willing to physically go down there, cool. His ability to draw crowds is something for people to look at. The fact he attempted to do it with so little time left is a criticism, but also something like, hey, you know what? It came to him, and he just went out there and did it, which I respect. But you know what? Doing it this late in the game, I probably should have done it a little bit beforehand. There's that fact. Obviously, putting down money for voter data is important. If you are the person who wants to organize your own events, you're gonna have to pay money for voter data. That's just a reality, unless you want to work with like field offices and the campaign itself, and with a separate org like DSA, like they were trying to. I would say that probably the finals week thing when it comes to why DSA is something you kind of need to probably realize, that working with like a why DSA chapters in this specific time frame is something that probably should have been calculated. But then again, it doesn't even look like they spent too much time with the DSA stuff. But then again, Destiny's saying he has a lot of DMs that he could have like had an access to, and he does have access to Doug, who, from my conversation with Doug, seems like a cool dude. But it seemed like maybe when it came to like new GA and contact with DSA and the timing of like, you know, finals week and everything else, that maybe just having more expertise at the helm during all of the staging processes or organizing process maybe would have been cool. Again, I think a lot of what I'm saying right now, criticism I'm making, maybe could be washed away with just, you know, like the DM evidence he's talking about. But he says he's just gonna take the L on this one, so there's not much more I can really request. And the finals thing was asking to do it on campus during what, yeah, on campus too was a little, I mean, I guess you can do it outside. There are like things about doing this stuff outside is safer and so, right? Politics doesn't stop during the pandemic. But then again, when we were working for the Michaela Wilkes campaign, we stopped all canvassing, all of it, once COVID took off, all of it, which extremely kneecapped our campaign. And you put that on top of the fact of, you know, I can't actually even talk about that, but there's some other drama with, let me just say that there's some cutthroat progressives who thought it was a nice idea to stay on the ballot even though they formally withdrew from the race, cutting our vote margins, and it's a bunch of bullshit I don't need to talk about, but stuff that gets me angry. Anyway, I'm gonna go use the bathroom quick. Come back quick, and we're gonna finish that senatorial debate. Anyway, what's the word? I'm happy that he is getting involved. I want more streamers to get involved in things outside of presidential elections. Definitely of elections of such weight. I'm happy that he himself went down there and was willing to participate. I'm happy he has somebody like Doug in the room who, from my one conversation with him, I'm not his best friend, but from my one conversation with him, seemed like a cool dude. I think right now my main criticisms would lie within the money needing to be put down for van information data, whether he should have just directed people towards other organizations, which he would then go canvas with and kind of help with and be part of and help like direct people in that direction, and possibly the late term nature of a lot of this going down, where stuff like this kind of like undercuts the whole operation because they're doing it so last second. But then again, that last criticism could have been undercut by these DMs he's supposedly possibly has. Yeah, that money claim you have to talk with him over, that I might actually have to talk to him over. But then again, that money claim I'm talking about has to do with this one organization, this one Georgia organization that they could have possibly bought voter lists from but didn't, since they weren't using Van. And the only reason I could think of him not using Van is due to how expensive Van is. I gotta go use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Van for a senatorial election, expensive. This isn't just like a city council race where like the Van data is like, I don't know what, like maybe a few $1,000 at most. I hope I'm not the next burnt bridge, eh? I hope nobody... Look, this is what's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna clip what I said without full context. They're gonna send it over to Destiny. Then Destiny's gonna rant at it because he's probably pissed he can't leak anything since he has private stuff that would get other people like involved in this, right? That's gonna get... So since he can't do it, he's gonna be pissed. He's gonna take that out on me, and he's gonna be burning another bridge. That's what's gonna happen. I'm talking to myself? What do you mean I'm talking to myself? Streaming isn't... You guys can't hear me? What do you mean? All streaming is talking to myself and pretending that you fucking people in the computer can hear me. Who cares? Well, I care, like, about my relationship with other people. I would like to, like, you know, have somewhat cordial working relationships with. It's beneficial for me making content, and I think it's beneficial for me politically. I mean, why wouldn't I? Never have a conversation like you are saying right now. Like Destiny is going to say, well, no, I'm not trying to base it off of misconception. I'm basing it off of chimping Twitch culture of people purposely like clipping stuff out of context, sending it to other people. And I'm not saying that Destiny like is inherently somebody who overreacts, but I'm just thinking about like if I was in that situation and I was under all this pressure and I was fucking pissed because I couldn't leak this or leak that because other people aren't part of it, but I know this stuff validates me, and now this person who I thought I was friendly with, according to this clip which I just saw, which how could this possibly be out of context, saying it just happens. I'm just saying it, so if it does happen, I could say knew it. To be honest, Destiny is more used to being under this pressure than most likely, yeah. Dylan, chill, you're fine. I know. I can go through doomsday scenarios, and I would like it if you all didn't bully me for going through doomsday scenarios, okay? You know what's gonna happen? Destiny is gonna break into my home. He's gonna break into my home. You know that? He's gonna break into my home. I know it. He's gonna break into my home because of my slight comments today. He's gonna break into it. He's gonna take an axe. He's gonna smash in my door. He's gonna tell my family members. He's gonna tell them to stay there, and they're gonna be frozen. They're gonna be frozen. He's gonna come to my door. He's gonna kick it in forcefully. I'm gonna be here. He's gonna cover the camera like this. He's gonna cover the camera and he's gonna say, Dylan, listen here. I disagree. And he's gonna give me a hug, pat on the head, and then he's gonna leave. Okay, that's what's gonna happen. There's my prediction. Hey, this is Dylan. I just want to let you know you can find my content live at twitch.tv/DylanBurnsTV. You can also find my link to my Twitter and Discord in the description. I hope you continue to give me support, and I appreciate you for watching my videos.